I need you. You are the one I'm staring deeply in your eyes. I am you. You are me. I see myself, I'm staring deeply in your eyes. Cries, a word to the wise. You are my girl, you are my favorite surprise. Tears, cheers, I'm counting the years. You are the one I'm staring deeply in your eyes. Surprise, tears, cheers, I'm counting the years. You are the one I'm staring deeply in your eyes. Deeply, 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 deeply in your eyes. cause you don't know what you're facing, man. I just snap and black out and then thud. I come to and you're all bloody in the mud. That's the way it goes when you miss a lithium dose. Suicidal thoughts, cock it back and I'm ghost. Can't hold me in, can't hold me down. And it's a little less constant now. Blow me away, blow me away, blow me away. Put your gun up to my head, blow me away. Can't hold me in, can't hold me down. And it's a little less constant now. Blow me away, blow me away, blow me away. Put your gun up to my head, blow me away. The sickness worsens, it spreads just like a virus. Contaminated, but them snitches always find us. On the run, trying to hide from my vertigo. Real high, medicated, suffocated though. I got no rules, no love, no way for you to understand. I got no game, no time, won't let you know that I'm the man that looks loose and understands his own destiny. I gotta take my life and show you all the best of me. Can't hold me in, can't hold me down. And it's a little less constant now. Blow me away, blow me away, blow me away. Put your gun up to my head, blow me away. Can't hold me in, can't hold me down. And it's a little less constant now. Blow me away, blow me away, blow me away. Put your gun up to my head, blow me away. Pull the trigger, please put me out my misery. The blues song, so I best just let it be. Blow me away, blow me away. Put your gun up to my head, blow me away. Pull the trigger, please put me out my misery. The blues song, so I best just let it be. Blow me away, blow me away. Put your gun up to my head, blow me away.
Find that girl, wherever she may be. Find that girl if it takes eternity. I search the heavens, I find them around. You know I just can't get this, I'm in a two-suit. I'm gonna find her, I'm gonna find her. Make her all mine. Find that girl, I have to sail the sea. She's the only little girl, belongs to me. Anything, just to find that girl. I know she's hot, somewhere in this world. I'm gonna find her, I'm gonna find her. Make her all mine. She might be hiding at Gino's bar. Then I wouldn't have to travel so far. She might be hiding somewhere in Spain. I hope she don't mind if I take her to Maine. I'm gonna find her, I'm gonna find her. Make her all mine. Yeah, I'm gonna find her. Yeah, I'm gonna find her. Yeah, find that girl. Yeah, find that girl. Hey, I'm gonna find her. Yeah, I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna find her. Make her all mine.
It costs that much 'cause it takes me fucking costs that much, cause I don't have superpowers. So you need to pay for my skills, cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much, cause it takes me fucking hours. You need to pay for my skills, cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much, cause it takes me fucking hours.
We have a great show for you this evening, apparently.
Oh no.
Duck! Oh no! Jesus!
I am. I'm great. There we go. Could I do that again? Cut. Action.
Hold it down.
Oh my god. I'm trying
hold
so
it.
hard.
Hold.
Wait, I got mine. Wait. Sir, this is a Wendy's. You really are stoned, aren't you? I'm like still trying to figure out if you are or not. I've been seriously trying to figure out for so long.
Okay, I put a water dish for him on the floor, and of course he's up here on the desk going for my water.
You know we can hear you, Jerry.
Oh.
Oh, live television, everybody. What? Hey, everybody, it's Uncle Warren here.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on. Will you shut the fuck up for a second?
Jewish space lasers.
I'm going to bring you guys in a second. I have things to do first, all right? I do shit on my show, all right?
All right,
I got house cleaning today. All right, so everybody, anyway. The hell I let the fucking Jack Klugman and Tony Randall on this show. Jesus Christ. Anyway, good to see everybody. This is me. Where's that fucking chicken at? There he is. Oh, Lord Chicken. Do your magic.
The question is, who's Tony Randall and who's Jack Klugman?
Please like, share, and subscribe despite what you hear tonight. So thank you for that. Let's get our fake sponsors out of the way, too. We got Big Ernie's Chicken Shack. Big Ernie's. Just ignore those chalk outlines on the sidewalk out front. Nothing to see here, folks. And Bud Spanky's Oral Sex Parlor. Bud Spanky's. Sucker. You wish. All right. So we still haven't gotten any money from those assholes. So we'll see how long they're going to be sponsors. I know, right? Fuckers. Before we bring in our special guests tonight, let's shout out the chat real quick. We got Miguel and Yipper, and Sam Cedar is king. Good to see you. Oh, you're going to be disappointed, Sam. I got some news for you here in just a second, brother. We got Mouse. Good to see you. And Rick and Midnight Karma. We got Gamer. Screw Google. And Cynical Girl. And Desert Mantis. Wow, I got a whole bunch of folks here tonight. Good to see all y'all. Les Bones, of course, one of our producers there in the chat, mixing it up. Who else we got here? P-Stuff is here. And Willie Bragg Show. Good to see you, Willie. Willie, part of the triumvirate tonight of shows with the Political Matrix. And a special trailer park show with Shiana, because Oz is under the weather. So let's send out some healing vibes to our brother Oz over there at Roar Media. So he could use it. You know, us old people, we can use all the healing powers we can get. Snow Himbo up in the house. Good to see you, brother. Snorky, good to see you. Oh, there he is. What's up, Proper? Good to see you, brother. We need critical thinking. I think that's everybody. DJ Hyona, of course, in the mix. California Rules. Yeah, I think that it is everybody there. Okay, cool. So, anyway, enough of this bullshit. Let's get to the guys here from Chicago Corner, the News Brothers. We got Ed Heller and Jerry Vassalatos. What's up, guys? Good to see you.
Yo.
Hey there. How's it going, everybody?
Is that what you think? All right. Wait, what? So it's a little weird tonight.
Is that what Who thinks? What was that in response to?
I don't know.
Oh,
To be honest with you, this is how weird this show is, Jerry. We just go wherever.
I should know.
That's going to get us a copyright strike. Thanks, Ed. You can turn it off now. All right, thanks, buddy.
What? I didn't hear anything. What are you talking about?
I heard you, getting, me a copyright strike there. So, no, actually, that song, we played that. When we played that, I got a copyright. It wasn't a strike, though. It was a ding.
Really? We know all about. Let me tell you, we opened Chicago Corner with the "It's 106 Miles to Chicago" clip of Aykroyd and Belushi. There's a song on YouTube that has no affiliation with Universal Pictures, and the song starts with that clip. And I'm constantly appealing copyright strikes, saying, this music video that uses the same clip we are, it's fair use. They don't own it. Why do you keep striking us for this? It's like the same copy and paste response every time. And it's like, it just drives me nuts. These fair use copyright strikes we all have to deal with. Ridiculous. Yeah. Waste of time and resources.
And it's meant to frustrate you, and meant to make you go, oh, well, fine, I just won't use it anymore. And not me, I'm more of a dick. I'm just like, that just makes me want to use it more. So
same here.
We start about 20 YouTube channels.
It's fair. Things, figments of your imagination are definitely fair use, though, aren't they, Jerry?
They're using it as a fair use clip, and we're getting struck for their fair use of it as we're using it fair use. It's not even Universal Pictures that's striking us. It's because of their stupid audio algorithms that just like listen for something and then automatically, tag you and make you have to. And the appeals are reversed in like 30 days. It's just you're waiting to get your monetization back because of the 30-day And that's the funny thing. It's like everything's AI algorithmically struck because the person that they're striking you on behalf of doesn't have the time within that 30 days to pay attention to all these things. So it just gets dropped.
I just want to say we got Jim and Victory Gin over on Rockfin. Good to see you. And we're also on Rumble tonight too. We're gonna start doing this bullshit on Rumble now. So I think it's gonna be the Fantastic Four of YouTube, Facebook, Rockfin, Rumble, right? And because
we were talking about maybe seeing if we could look at Rumble also. For Chicago,
not a bad option. The thing is, you get on there, and I think you got to get 100 subscribers, and then you can start streaming on there. But you can also,
we can maybe talk to some of the people following us on the other channels. We got 1,630 on YouTube. Yeah. We got about 2,000 people following us on Rockfin.
And your friends help you spread the word, right? We spread the word. Let's get Chicago Corner on Rumble, guys.
Yeah, I'm talking when we get our thing set up, Jerry, we'll have to come back on to the secret show and let Uncle Warren spread the word.
Absolutely. Well, we've had Uncle Warren and Jimmy on. We love having you guys on our show. Great conversation. Well, the last time we had Warren on with Jimmy, we were talking UAPs and UFOs, and we went a long time with that topic because that was like I think the week after Grush's disclosure, and more and more is being revealed as the weeks go on. And I'm telling you, this is the story of the century. It's going to change the world when Senate and congressional hearings happen, and we learn more and more and more. So I just never imagined that I would be alive to witness it in my lifetime. So. Exciting stuff.
Yeah,
but you and Jimmy were great with that when we were all talking about it, sharing theories and stuff.
I don't know. I don't want to be that guy because I've always been the guy that wants to believe. I've always been the Fox Mulder that's just like, yeah, that shit's real. I haven't seen it myself, but I gotta believe that it's real. And then when the government tells us stuff about it, it's just. It just smells like psyops barbecue sauce all over that. You know what I mean? Just
there's that element. Remember, this guy's a whistleblower working in the government. I don't think they were that happy about him coming out. And was he put forward to start this psyop, or maybe start floating this balloon that sooner or later they're going to have to reveal something? I don't know, but I think the guy is authentic, as is the Australian investigative reporter. that broke the story with that long interview with him over at News Nation. So, and it's really opened the door. It also opened the door for that other, who's the doctor who we saw give that long press conference? I'm forgetting his name now.
Oh, Stephen Greer.
Stephen Greer, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, what a press conference that was. Get your butt out of my face. Where he went into detail.
that was a press conference with a butt in the face. Oh, sorry,
you're
talking about
detail on the socioeconomic implications of this, which a lot of people haven't considered. The reason this shit's been covered up is because you've got a lot of shadow operation companies and aviation and aeronautics industries reverse engineering this stuff for weaponization, militarization, and they want to keep a tight cap on this so that they can all profit from it. Plus, as Greer was revealing, a lot of this technology that they're reverse engineering, or a lot of this alien tech, could literally like change things for the better in this world. You know, get rid of fossil fuels, give us clean energy.
The 0 point energy was what got my attention.
Yeah, solve the hunger problem worldwide. But you know, those who've got the money, who are, you know, capitalists, and those who are running the game, they don't want to see the rest of the world benefit from something that they're just making money hand over fist for as long as they live, and they don't give a shit about the future. So nobody's considered the socioeconomic implications of this, and Greer really, I think, put a focus on it. It's like, well, yeah, then that makes sense why it's been covered up since the 1930s, since that first spacecraft was reported down in Italy that the Vatican helped told the U.S. about that after World War II, and then you had Roswell. I don't know. I mean, I'm jumping down the rabbit hole early, but to the point, it was wonderful to have you and Jimmy on our show too, talking about this stuff, because that's what this ecosystem is about, like conversation and like sharing things that we don't know about, and contributing the conversation to learn more and hopefully, you know, expose more for the benefit of people, you know, waking up to things.
Hey, Shelley, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. What's that, Ed?
I think it's a combination. It's not just a psyop, but it is also a distraction. So it could very well be that this information is true, and that they're using the opportunity of the information being released to distract you from something else nefarious that's going on. And there's so many something else's right now.
Well, but we are paying attention to those, Ed. Like, we know
we are, but not a lot of other people are.
Well, let's go down the list of things that, I mean, I think that be interesting. We're all focused on what's happening in Ukraine and the whole NATO, U.S. trying to get us into World War III, because it's all about the gas pipelines and the oil and who's going to economically profit from
selling weapons.
And selling weapons in NATO Europe, that the Nord Stream pipeline can no longer supply gas to. That's something that I'm sure that they want to distract us from. The elections, what's going on like politically with elections here in the U.S. What else are they potentially distracting us from, though, aside from those two big things that I think are
everything? Well, pretty much all the economic stuff that they're
trying to
pull.
The hedge funds, right, Wall Street, but people are looking at that stuff too. I mean, the pandemic really forced people who were stuck in their houses locked up to start, how am I going to entertain myself or bide the time? Oh, the internet. Oh, pandemic really opened a lot of people's eyes. They were forced to open their eyes to things that they hadn't looked at before because they were stuck indoors, which was a good thing. You know, the good that came out of a bad situation. Yeah. But maybe they're distracting us from more stuff that has to do with another viral outbreak, or the fact that as we've always speculated, that thing was engineered in a Wuhan lab and got out somehow. And who's going to be accountable for the millions of lives that were lost because of gain of function research, you know?
Yeah, and that, and like how one of the courts had said that the White House can't be talking to social media companies to censor free speech.
Saw that.
That not everybody heard about that one, or it's being reworded in mainstream media as in they're being mean and not letting us do what we have to do to make sure that all these quote unquote disinformation voices won't be shouting out nonsense. Well, you're supposed to be allowed to say anything you want to in free speech, as long
except for fire in a crowded theater or hate speech, or hate speech.
That's the basic example that they use. Is it's like if you're trying to like question things that are being told to you by authority or news sources or anything, you should be allowed to question it. It shouldn't be a thing where your social media accounts get censored or shut down.
Well, dude, this speaks to something we've also talked about, in that we don't have news in the United States. We have propaganda. The only place you might find real information is here on YouTube with independent journalists that they're constantly trying to shut down. Because whether it's MSDNC or Clinton News Network or Fox News, it's just propaganda outlets for the two sides that are the same, for the kayfabe that Ed constantly references and uses as a metaphor, because it's true. They're all gaining on dividing us, while they're laughing at the top, making the money from their donors, pretending it's like the Harlem Globetrotters and the Washington Generals. All of this kabuki theater with both parties, who are all, win or lose whatever side, they're still going to be sitting on their fat asses getting rich while they're dividing the rest of us and distracting us to fight each other, instead of recognizing this is not a red or blue issue. This is not even a race war. This is a class war right now. I really think this is a class war in this country right now, but people don't recognize that it's a class war. It's about a class war, as opposed to, focusing on racism, gender discrimination, and other things.
Well, when you say class warfare to certain people of a certain age too, they immediately think of communism and oh, you're trying to, get rid of our freedom and our capitalism and stuff like that. And it's
they're not free though. They don't realize we're not living.
Well, it's not free. It's not a free market system. It's not.
No, it's a plutocracy. It's an oligarchy.
Yeah.
It is a. So I think it was Mussolini who defined fascism as the marriage between corporations and the state. What is the United States of America? The United States of America is the corporate states of America, is what it is. Because the only people that our leaders, or I'm not even call them leaders, elected representatives are serving are their donors. We elect them, and they serve the people who give them the most amount of money. So, and those are corporations. So, by Mussolini's definition, we're in a fascist framework, because we really don't have a voice. We don't, we talk about this all the time, man. We know we've got money to give Medicare for all. It's not a priority. We dish it to the Ukraine so we can further American imperialist interests there or other places in the world, to make the military industrial complex richer. So,
that's why I say, I got to be skeptical about this stuff with the UFO stuff, right? I have to be skeptical about everything now. That I'm skeptical about these politicians, these people that are running for president, Cornel West and RFK Jr., Marianne Williamson. I'm skeptical of all those cats.
So how do you feel about it, Warren? Because we haven't had a chance to talk about this. I was really excited and thrilled to see Cornel West announce, but I had my reservations when he was with the People's Party. Now that he's aligning with the Green Party, I'm a little bit more optimistic. But I was also pleased when RFK announced. So my issue with RFK is he's got to run as a Democrat, which they're not going to let him. So if Cornel West runs third party, I think that there's enough of a populist support base there that gravitated towards Bernie. But what do you think, Warren, about why are you skeptical about RFK or Cornel West?
Well, I mean, RFK is he is a big time fan. It's like he's running in the Democratic Party for one thing. That's strike one. He shouldn't be doing that at all. But I'm a Democrat. I'm okay.
Well, you might think he doesn't have a choice because it's always been a two-party system, and that's just what he knows.
Yeah, but that's like when Nina Turner says. That's like when Nina Turner said, I will disappoint you at some point, and then she didn't win. Ooh, I wonder why. Because she said, you're going to disappoint people. And then you're going to tell people, I'm a Democrat. It's like, okay, you just turned off all the independents. You've turned off all the Bernie people that still, have a brain in their head that aren't sucked into the cult, the AOC Bernie cult.
In all of the
don't get us started on his.
In all of the polling I've seen on Twitter, though, Cornel West is leading ahead of RFK and Marianne Williamson in a lot of Twitter polling that I've seen. So it's like people are not afraid to say, fuck these two parties. We're ready to go third party. Just like all in.
I don't know. Well, it's a hot take on my part, but I don't like any political parties. I don't like the Green Party. I don't like any of these parties. I think people should run as independents. But that's not going to happen because people have to be in these clans. They have to be in these cliques. You could say before in the past, well, you have to run in a party to help fundraise and stuff like that because you didn't have the internet. You didn't have all these various ways to fundraise like you do today. Now an independent candidate, all you got to do is just find something to catch fire on the internet, and then once you start trending and then people start listening to you, you can snowball from there. Does it happen all the time? Will it work? Is it 100% guaranteed? Of course not. But it's a new way of doing things, and people are tired of the old ways. They want to see new things, and they want to see people doing new things in order to be seen and heard. And you don't need a political party because people don't trust these parties. I don't care how many people.
I agree with you, but it comes down to fundraising. You have to be in a party with money because advertising and all this costs a lot of money that the average person in a quote unquote independent party would never be able to raise to even be a blip on the radar. That's the problem. Yeah. Getting money out of politics.
Well, that's the current system. That's the thing. You're not going to get money out of politics. So you have to circumvent that. You have to create a new way of doing it.
I have a temporary solution, at least for people who want to run independent but kind of need a party apparatus in order to start collecting money and get people to support you behind the thing. I created a website. If I would be allowed to share it here, if that's Uncle Warren.
Damn it! No. We were doing so well, Ed, not doing anything.
It's not self-promotion.
No, it's not. But you know what drives me crazy too, Ed? When social media is the place that we're supposed to promote each other, but then you go to websites, you're like, no self-promotion here. It's like, what the fuck's the point of the internet and social media? Yeah. Self-promote.
Exactly.
This is a great website.
So this is a little parody website I created, but actually if people were interested in running independent and wanting to be able to list themselves and be recognizable on a ballot, this is a way to do it. And if anybody's actually interested, I have volcanoparty.org. And here's an example. It's welcome to Volcano Party, home of lava-based solutions. Problem: endless obstruction. Nothing is getting done. Is never-ending congressional gridlock making it impossible to get any meaningful legislation for the public good? Does your senator or House representative still try to feed the people with meaningless, virtue-signaling, empty-calorie platitude burgers? Are they constantly taking vacations while utterly failing to sense any urgency for anything but a tax break for their already wealthy friends, or piling on more bazillions of dollars for the Space Force or the Pentaverate?
What is a Pentaverate?
It's the people running the country.
Okay.
Colonel
the
Sanders is a member.
People.
He's not dead. Okay. Yeah. Does it seem like there's not one thing that can properly motivate your representative to actually do something for you? No motivation works better than the good old reliable fear, but the plain old regular fear of losing a committee seat, cutting off free gas fracking lobbyist cash, or missing out on that sweet insurance industry and big pharma money just isn't going to work these days. But we know what will. Lava-based solutions. Lava. Yes, lava.
I'm doing the sign language.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Warren. I love that. Sure, actively protesting your constituent dodging corrupt as heck representative is, quote, good trouble. But while it's true that denying your representatives a moment of peace can be very effective, no primal fear comes anywhere close to the actual fear of being dropped into an active volcano full of searing hot molten lava.
What wish fulfillment we have here.
That's why we at the Volcano Party offer only the best and most effective lava-based solutions to solve the nation's biggest problems. Lava. It's just that simple. And there's more, but we don't have to read that today. You guys can head to volcanoparty.org to check out the rest of that. It's got a whole thing. There's an About Us page. There's the platform. There's an events page. Let's check out the events page and
Does
see.
the platform involve a plank over a volcano?
Yar, matey.
Is it volcanic events? Get it?
I got live links.
So we got one of the live volcano feeds that they have on the internet. There's a bunch of volcanoes that have been erupting. Have you guys noticed?
Well, I've heard about Yellowstone being a big threat. A lot of people are focused on Yellowstone in our own country as having the potential to like wipe us out in 30 days, in the unforeseeably soon future. Warren?
Sorry, I was just reenacting how it would happen when Yellowstone blows. I went, ah! And then my face melted like in Indiana Jones.
Raiders melting face.
Yeah. So anyway, my thinking is that if people want to run independent on a ballot, what you do, and if you're required to list yourself as being part of a party, it would be helpful just to list yourself as Volcano Party candidate. Because then if enough people do it running independent, list themselves as Volcano Party, then all the other parties will get terrified. Who the hell's the Volcano Party? Why are all these people getting on ballots under the Volcano Party? We've never heard of the Volcano Party. It will freak them the fuck out.
No one knows about the Volcano Party until it surfaces. You get it?
I like it.
It will erupt onto the political scene.
Ejaculating lava. Wait a minute. No, don't use that.
We may need to work on that.
Don't say ejaculating lava, which used to be my porn name. No, it wasn't. Not at all.
Have you ever heard that trope that your porn name is the first pet that you owned, the name of the first pet that you owned, and the street you grew up on?
Yeah, they do that for identity theft mostly.
Oh, do they? Okay. So what's your porn name then? Following that,
I'm not telling you that.
Oh, come on. The name of your first pet,
and they're going to hack into all my bank accounts that have no.
Quit trying to dump Ed, Jerry. My God, man.
Don't you know, like when you have those secret those questions for verification when you do the lost password?
Yeah, but they don't ask you what's your porn name based on the street you grew up on and the name of your first pet, unless that's what you're putting in. They do ask you the street you grew up on. You know that trope.
They do ask you the street you grow up on. And they do ask you the name of your first pet. They just don't combine them into a porn
you know
question.
What? You're right.
They're two separate.
But I never use those for passwords anyway, so I'll just tell you mine, which really doesn't make much sense as a porn name. Elmer Hibbard. Does that sound like a porn name?
Elmer Hibbard? Like Dr. Hibbard.
Maybe.
What?
I had a chameleon when I was 7, and I named him Elmer. And the street I grew up on was Hibbard. So now my ex-wife had a really, really great porn name because she had a dog that was named Misty, and the street she lived on was Normandy. So her porn name was Misty Normandy. We had a lot of fun with that. That's a really good one.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. There's a thing. Oh, damn, baby. Misty Normandy. Yeah. Shit. Give me some sandwiches. Wait a minute. I don't know how to get out of this. I gotta do this.
Warren's on the sexy cam.
It's the sexy cam. It's the Uncle Warren sexy cam.
I know. I was a little shorty on the sexy cam too. I was like, hey, baby. Wait a minute. Let's go back to that. Let's see.
Warren's got some great graphics here, man. You got some nice bells and whistles. How are you doing? What are you doing?
Okay. Enough of that nonsense.
For more extra Bulla on The Secret Show with sexy Uncle Warren on his sexy cam.
I have a little Hitler mustache.
Yeah, Miguel says only fan. Yeah, I'm the only fan. Me. I'm the only one. So, no money for me. Sad face. Single tear. Don't litter.
No tips.
I don't know. No, this ain't that kind of party. Guys, what? Oh, Laura Baza, Baza. I'm sorry, Laura. I always fuck up your last name. I'm stoned. Forgive me. She said Elmer Hilbert. Elmer Hilbert reminds me of the guy.
Elmer
Hibbert.
Hibbard, Hibbard.
Okay. She said that reminds me of the guy from Lolita. Do you
Oh
remember?
yeah. The I forgot his real. I know who she's talking about though. Yeah. The character, I just don't recall the name now, but yeah, it was a similar, like, kind of like goofy Elmer Fudd-like name. Will you get down?
Kitty! Look at that
Yeah,
sweet
I know.
baby kitty.
This is my guest panel.
What if someone at that Chicago NASCAR street race was pregnant, like 9 months pregnant, and gave birth during the race, and then and then years later they had to do the your porn star name thing, and it would be something like Fluffy NASCAR turn number 4.
Fluffy Michigan Avenue.
What did they
Fluffy
rename?
Jean Baptiste Point du Sable Drive.
Yeah, there it is. That's what I was looking for.
We renamed since Laura. Yeah, these
Word
idiots
drive.
renamed our drive something so stupid.
Laura likes it. Laura and Roxanne likes the kitty. She says, "Oh, cute kitty."
Yeah, no, he's my love. The only thing is, when I'm trying to talk to people, I guess I shouldn't complain. You know what? He gives me unconditional love, and I love him for it. He's such a good little boy, such a sweetie.
He just wants to be part of the show. Really.
He does. He's a
I
good.
keep telling Jerry he needs to get Oreo his own cam and laptop so he can do his own setup and do his own streams.
This is what he likes. He likes his little chin rubbed. No, not now. Okay.
I do too.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah, that's the stuff.
No, that's too much. That's too much. I'm overstimulated. Sorry. Sorry. I'm drinking delicious cherry lime Ricky. You can't see it because it's green, but it's from Arizona, and it's sparkling water.
You can see the title, but not the background. It's
Right.
really weird.
See,
Is that the Arizona brand of iced teas?
but this has sparkling water in it, and it's cherry lime Ricky. It's a Brooklyn invention. So you put the little cherry and the lime in there with the fizzies and the sippies and the deliciouses.
So is it more lime or more cherry?
It's a delicate balance. It's a graceful dance of flavors, Ed, where the cherry takes turns leading with the lime in its ballet of deliciousness. Okay,
Warren,
that's all
have
I
you
got.
had Green River soda?
Green River? No,
Yeah.
I don't think they have that here. That may be a Midwest thing.
It's a Chicago invention, but they do have it in other places. It's a lime. It's like a nuclear lime flavored soda. It's delightful. I was going to ask if you'd had it, how it would compare to your cherry lime Ricky, but
I don't know. See, the other Arizonas are just like that juice, and it's like, if I'm gonna get juice, I'll just get like real juice, right?
Well, my
I'll go get
favorite
some good
Arizona
juice.
is raspberry iced tea, and it seems to have gotten very hard to find because whenever I go into a 7-Eleven or Walgreens, actually Walgreens carries them, but like 7-Elevens aren't carrying the raspberry iced tea as much anymore. And I'm like, what? It's either the most popular thing that they can never keep up with restocking, or for some reason it's not, and they're not stocking it. But I think it's one of their best flavors. It's my
Is that
favorite.
the one with the white label? Is that the white label and it has like the
No,
something
it's
like
got
that?
kind of like a checkerboard label, and the checkerboard is different colors for the different flavors. It's in a tall can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's different iced teas. They've got sweet tea, they've got regular lemon iced tea, raspberry iced tea, which is my favorite. Others that I can't remember because I always go to the raspberry iced tea. But
You know, I like the fact that Arizona exists, right? That there's like, and they're only $1 a can, right? And you get like a big, you know,
they're good.
Big-
I've got
you get a
one in
big-
my fridge right now. I could go grab. Yeah, it's that size.
yeah. I mean, it's a sweet deal, and the juices aren't bad. You know, a lot of the drinks aren't bad. You know, I got my favorite here. You know, I could put a little bit of Grandpa's cough medicine there, you know, to spice it up. But I like it as just a regular summertime treat, just by itself. It's very refreshing.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's but you know, there's always going to be that one person who says, you know, Arizona iced tea has like cancer worms in it, you know, or some shit like that. You're gonna like,
yeah, but what doesn't? these
I've
days.
never heard anything bad about the Arizona brand, though. And I used to be big on Snapple growing up when I listened to Howard Stern because he was always pimping Snapple. But then I discovered the Arizona brand, which I think was like even better. So,
Yeah.
I'm looking at your live chat to see if there's any interesting chatter out there about what we're talking. Oh, Gamer for Life is talking about Anna Kasparian and a clown, all of TYTR. Yeah, I've been following that story.
Are they fake progressives again?
Well, no, Anna Kasparian is suddenly extolling the virtues of coming to middle ground with legitimate conservatives the way Jimmy Dore has, but she hasn't apologized for how she smeared Jimmy Dore for doing the same thing she's doing now.
Oh, the Red Brown Alliance thing. Yeah, that's
because she's
dumb.
taking
So
heat
dumb.
now for her trans comments.
And she's not going to apologize because that's not in the script. You know?
Her ego won't allow her to. I used to like Anna because I really liked her strong, fiery presence, but that was like probably 6 or 7 years ago. I can't stand her anymore because it's like she became a shit lip. And now she's running for cover, basically taking the same identity as far as like being able to find ground with legitimate conservatives, not the batshit crazy conservatives. And I think we should. But Jimmy Dore's been like, suggesting that for the past couple of years, and they've been demonizing him for it. So it's like, well, she's suddenly embracing that. You know why, Warren? Because she realizes the shitlib brand is no longer working for TYT. Now she's got to like kind of move in the direction that Jimmy is, not because she's off. Well, I think that maybe she is slightly authentic about it, but not as authentic as Jimmy is. But that's what's going to help keep their brand going and bring in the dollars because she recognizes they have to evolve that way, I think.
No, it's a pattern with them though. What they do is they pretend that they're calling out the establishment and everything, and then all of a sudden, after they get either halfway through the primaries or when the primaries end, they come back to Mama and they tell everybody to vote Democrat. So
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's very obvious when you see the pattern with that. And it's like the only decent person I ever saw on TYT, which I haven't watched in years, was Jimmy Dore. And he left. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm done with that, watching that channel. And now I was
and Jimmy's the one who inspired me when I discovered him to discover Hard Lens Media in Chicago because they had done an interview with him. And that's kind of how I entered this whole ecosystem. My admiration for Jimmy Dore and seeing that there was a local indie news outlet that was like doing the same kind of stuff I'm grateful because I was always a news and gadfly and political junkie. And I'd listened to talk radio all my life in Chicago. And again, or people like Mike Malloy, who used to be on Air America Radio. He was on WLS in Chicago and, left-wing radio host. And like Jimmy Dore's what kind of like helped, I guess, me find a place joining this wonderful indie ecosystem of political commentary and stuff. So Jimmy's
it's amazing all the content that we used to consume that we now realize was just kind of funneling people back into the establishment without even us realizing it. When you finally wake up to that and you start paying attention to what the reality is and you see cues for people who are starting to try and steer you one way or another, and you're like, wait a minute. He's got no proof for this thing that he's saying. He's making suggestions. He's telling us that authorities told us this. He's telling us that this government operative verified this piece of information that nobody else has been able to verify. I'm like, what happened in the news media? When did they all just become parrots of whatever they were told instead of actually doing the investigative reporting to see if something was true?
Willie Bragg, you're absolutely right. I'm watching the live chat. What ruined TYT was that Katzenberg money in 2016. Yeah. Certainly they had to be accountable to their donor, their master donor, Katzenberg. So they had to like shift gears. I mean, I used to admire Cenk Uygur when he got fired from MSNBC because it's like he got fired because he stood for his principles. He was very highly rated, but once he got the Katzenberg cash, boom, get your mind right, as Jimmy used to say. Nice news skirt.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I'm not trying to be.
But never mind that shit. There's a giant sphere in Las Vegas.
I want to know when they're going to start broadcasting porn on that sphere in Vegas.
I hope somebody, yes, Jerry, I'm hoping
Someone's
somebody
gotta
hacks
hack
that
it.
thing.
That's the place to do it. A big round ass on that sphere right in the middle of
Yeah.
what's the main street in Las Vegas?
Where is it located? I don't know. But there's videos of the thing changing into different stuff.
Yeah. I
Hackers.
just saw, it's a golden opportunity.
There was like a news story, I think from the other day, where they're talking about how it's causing traffic problems because people are distracted by the damn thing.
Yeah. So
Like,
Cynic Girl in the chat says, I always got weird vibes from Jenk. Well, that's because he's into bestiality. So your weird vibes are actually quite founded, because I think there was one video he did where he was talking about how it would be okay. I think he was saying like he understood why it would be okay to pleasure a horse to
oh God.
release. He was talking about that with Anna, by the way.
Why
That was
would
back
you
in the
do
days
that?
when this kind of stuff was okay to talk about on TYT. But now they're all, grown up now that they got the Katzenberg cash, and they.
Oh yeah, there it is. That thing's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is cool.
They got I think it was somewhere down in that video, they got it turning into like a moon or a planet or something.
But there was a great tweet that I saw that I shared with Warren before we came on tonight. I'm trying to find it in the messages. Let's see if I can find it, because it did make a really, really legitimate point here. We got billions of dollars for this thing, but no money to feed our hungry or house our homeless.
Yeah, this thing's $2.3 billion, by the way. $2.3 billion.
Do you know how many people that could house or feed? It is cool, but again, priorities.
Yeah. So
what is it, like a sphere with an LED?
I think the whole thing is LED. The whole ball is LED.
So it's skin, and it's able to that's amazing.
It's a technological feat for sure.
Well, they got that curved. It's curved
Yeah.
video. Like they have that at the Barclays Center too. They have like this video that kind of goes around these curves and stuff like that. They could probably do a sphere pretty well too. Well, for $2.3 billion, they better be able to make a fucking good thing out of it, right? I mean, make it work.
Velvet Trance has the comment of the night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It must be the size of your anus. What?
And the specific quote was, in America, we don't have health care. We have a giant sphere that does nothing. But entertain.
That's not nothing. Come on.
But entertain. I added entertain.
Yeah.
It's from Against Late Capitalism on Twitter.
That's just disgusting. At $2.3 billion, that just
the eye is freaky.
That just grinds my gears. So, I think we could do a lot with $2.3 billion, guys, besides make one of Hitler's testicles come to life with video.
And to quote Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters, that's a big testicle. Oh, no, he said
it
Twinkie. I said
Twinkie. It's a magic testicle found in the bowels of Earth. Yes, that was just highly disgusting. But yes, going back to what you were talking about though, about any of these things, it's like these news channels, these politicians, or even some of these organizers too. You gotta keep your eye peeled, because too many people fall in love, and they don't try and find out who these people are or these entities are or whatever, and then they get into it and they find out, oh, I've been sheep herded into this thing.
But RFK and West have a track record we can look at. Although I would say Bernie Sanders did too, until he pulled the rug out from under us. So we got to be cautious in who we fall in love with in our politics.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell people, you got to hold your representatives accountable. They're not your friends. They're not celebrities. You don't pick a team and then decide that whatever they decide is good without questioning things that might be bad.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're, they say they're going to do something, you got to actually hold them to those things. If they tell you they're going to do something that they should not be doing, you should raise holy hell. Don't just say, because it shouldn't be a team sports thing where, if this guy does it and he's on my team, then it's fine. But if the other guy does it on the other team, then it's bad.
That's the shit lib mentality.
that's that's that whole thing, like the cluster bombs that they're sending to Ukraine. Everybody was saying that those are terrible things that nobody should ever be using ever again, until the Dems decide that they want to send some over to Ukraine.
It's okay
But
now.
all of a sudden now it's fine because it's our team doing it. No, it's not fine. Don't do it.
Don't forget those delicious depleted uranium tipped weapons as well. That they want to throw in
Nothing
there.
finer than some delicious
hungry for some right now.
uranium tipped missiles and depleted uranium bits.
Have you
Now
seen
available in cookie form.
Have you seen the parody memes on social media that are showing like nuclear bomb popcorn tubs as a tie-in with the Oppenheimer movie that's opening next month? I've seen these and I'm like
mushroom cloud.
I actually believe that these big fat man and a little boy, it's like the popcorn tub and little boy is your drink cup. And I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't put it past them to market that movie with that kind of stuff because that's what they do at the concession stand. But they're parody. It's
Fat
hilarious.
Man's got the wait. Fat Man's got the popcorn, and little boy's got the
popcorn
drink.
tub. I mean, what's going to be the Oppenheimer Happy Meal at McDonald's? Talking about nuclear Armageddon and weapons. That's going to be a good movie to watch.
I just want a creepy Cillian Murphy Oppenheimer action figure where he's just staring at you like that creepy McDonald's, like McDonald on the old playgrounds when he'd watch you bouncing on the Fry Guys and getting stuck in the Officer Big Mac thing.
He looks like so. There's been some like social media stuff now with a Grimace drink. I think people.
Well, it's over now. It's over now, but it was the Grimace birthday shake.
Yeah. Where people drink it and they die.
Yeah, well, that social media stuff was basically they would pretend like it killed them, and then they would leave puddles of the Grimace shake out there like it was purple blood. And,
oh my God! These things are
And of course, now we realize that the Grimace birthday shake was a tie-in to the Oppenheimer movie.
Ah, okay.
Because where else do you think a guy looking like Grimace comes from other than a nuclear wasteland?
That's true.
Yeah,
he does look like a Fallout 4 character.
Because the only purple food is moldy and rancid in real life.
I
don't
thought
think there's any purple food aside from blueberries.
I always thought he was a serial killer, to be honest with you. I always thought he would be the perfect, like, his name is Grimace because, when he kills you, the last look on your face is because it's a
we used
grimace.
To call the Hamburglar, when we were younger. I remember him being referred to as the turd burglar. Because the Hamburger looked like he was a child molester running around looking for his victims.
Those McDonald's, those old McDonald's playgrounds were creepy as fuck, man. You went the Officer Big Mac, that thing you went in and then you got inside his head, right? You had to go through his ass.
Inside of Big Mac's head. You go up his ass to get inside his head.
You had to go up his ass. Wait a minute. Where is he? Oh no, I don't have him.
I used to take.
I had to go up his ass and then into his hamburger head. Wow. All right. So
I used to take
the Happy Meal toy.
I would take great satisfaction using images of Mayor McCheese when Richie Daley Jr. was mayor of Chicago. Anytime I talk about Richie Daley, who preceded Rahm Emanuel, I'd show Mayor McCheese, because he had a big head like Richie Daley did. Yeah, those McDonald's characters are ripe for all kinds of alternative uses in parody and satire.
Gamer in the chat says, I've never had the Grimace drink. I said, you must have never had Jägermeister then. Am I right, guys? You know what I'm saying? That, hey,
I like Jägermeister, though.
In Chicago, the Grimace drink would be Malort.
Every time I've drank Jägermeister, I found myself telling people.
Get your hand off my penis!
It just happens every fucking time, right?
Who the fuck said that?
I don't know.
Anyway, the best parties, Uncle Warren.
So the McDonald's characters have transitioned into the older Muppet movies in the live chat. And since we're talking about all these like childhood characters and stuff, my favorite, this is such a stream of consciousness show, Warren, Did you guys grow up watching Sid and Marty Krofft's Acid Trip HR Puffin
Oh
stuff?
yeah.
I love
yeah.
that. I love that show. I love that show growing up. But you know, the McDonald's Corporation basically ripped off Sid and Marty Krofft because they had approached Sid and Marty Krofft to basically build out what we eventually saw as the McDonald Land characters. But when Sid and Marty Krofft basically shared designs and proposals, McDonald's didn't pay them and went off and did it on their own. There was a very famous lawsuit that Sid and Marty Krofft filed against McDonald's and won because the McDonald Land was literally like Living Island from HR Puffin stuff, based on all of the IP and imagination of Sid and Marty Krofft.
Oh, did you see that the docu movie about Ray Kroc?
I saw the founder with Michael Keaton,
That's it. That's the
yeah. Oh, fantastic movie, man! Oh my god,
great movie. But and it also kind of gives you that background as to of course McDonald's did that because that's basically how McDonald's exists now today.
Yeah,
because Ray Kroc,
lying, cheating, capitalist scumbag who literally stole McDonald's from the two brothers who actually formed that brand. And got rich selling the real estate, the land, to all of the franchisees that bought into being a McDonald's franchise.
That was
he was
the thing
selling
too.
real estate, not hamburgers.
Yeah, in fact, one of the biggest real estate companies in the world is McDonald's.
Yep.
That's
why
their
they're rich.
thing. Hamburgers is just second. That's just a secondary thing. But it's the real estates where they make the. So.
John Kemper, oranges, poranges. I remember that Witchy Poo song. So really quick little Easter egg. Beginning of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It's set in 1969. In the opening scene in 1969 is Indy waking up on his recliner in his living room with his TV left on from overnight, and because it's in the morning, he wakes up to HR Puffin stuff on his TV in 1969. I'm like, what a wonderful Easter egg for those of us who grew up in that time and watched that show. Indy watched HR Puffin stuff, and he was wearing a Chicago Cubs t-shirt.
Nice.
Was he wearing a Cubs shirt? I missed that.
He was. Harrison's from Chicago. Harrison grew up in Park Ridge, and is
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Look at the free
technically, Park Ridge is a suburb of Chicago.
Yeah, this is why we do this show, baby. It's just a stream of conscience. This is the food club Joe Rogan right here. Is basically what this is the poor man's Joe Rogan kind of thing. It's Joy Rogan, not Joe Rogan.
Metropolitan area.
He's from the Chicagoland area.
Chicagoland metropolitan area.
I got the loop behind me right here.
Oh, you got us honored back there. Awesome.
We got the loop back there. I'm going to go get an Italian sausage sandwich and power that down before the Bears game comes on. They're playing Green Bay.
Oh, what you really want to get is like a grilled Polish. But if you're going for Italian, you should go for the Italian beef and sausage combo.
Oh, I had the beef and sausage combo, but all of a sudden it turns into Peter Griffith. I've had my 8th heart attack.
That's what she said. And by the way, over Warren's left shoulder, that we know that is the Sears Tower, not the Willis Tower. Okay.
Yes,
and
we can say that,
Tower, and it remains the Sears Tower.
And we can say that because the Sears Roebuck Company commissioned the building.
That's right.
Even though they left it like a long time ago.
Yeah.
They're the ones that had the building made.
We don't call Lakeshore Drive Jean Baptiste Dussab Drive. We still call it Lakeshore Drive. We still call Macy's Marshall Fields because that's the space that they occupy on State Street.
Is Macy's even there anymore?
They're still there.
I don't know. It's like after the lockdown, so many businesses went under.
No, they're still there.
Hard.
They're still there. They occupy the Marshall Fields building, which I still call Marshall Fields.
Well, they do still sell Frango mints there. So that's a plus.
Ooh, those are delish.
I don't know if Uncle Warren's familiar with Frango mints.
No, I'm not.
Why
don't you explain, Ed?
They are cube-shaped chocolate mints that the Frango Mint Company used to make in Chicago for years.
Hey, Miguel in the chat, that wasn't really a spoiler. I didn't blow a spoiler for Indiana Jones. I just noticed something in the opening. It's a little Easter egg I noticed that you would miss if you blinked. So pay attention in the opening. He's watching.
I'm fooling you and you don't like it.
See, yeah, that's what it is, Miguel. He's fooling you.
No,
You
but
don't
if you
like it.
really want some spoilers, head over to the Chicago Corner YouTube channel and check out the live premiere that we had. Was it this morning at 11?
Yeah, at
Central?
11, we dropped our Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny review. That's very, very spoiler filled. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to
See
be
the movie
spoiled,
first.
don't watch our review. If you don't care about spoilers, go watch. We're up to, I think, almost 100 views on it now, and it dropped at 11 today. But Ed and I and my very good friend Art Medina, who joins us every once in a while on Chicago Corner, I've known him for years. He's another movie fan. We saw it together and we're like, we like doing movie reviews. It's a different thing for Chicago Corner because invariably when we're doing Chicago Corner shows and we get sidetracked by pop culture, some of the news junkies on Chicago Corner are like, yawn, get back to the news. They don't like it. We're supposed to be dancing monkeys about other things. So I'm like, fuck it. Let's just drop Apple movies with Chicago Corner. So we reviewed The Flush, which essentially flushed the DC cinematic universe down the toilet. And we reviewed our second review was Dial of Destiny, and that dropped today. And it was a fun analysis of the film.
Yeah, and I found out, and I realized, I'm like, there was so much. We probably could have gone another half hour on this day. There were a bunch of stuff like we should have talked about some other stuff about this movie that I didn't even think we should. But
there was some stuff I missed that I realized. You and I were talking afterwards, and I'm like, I wanted to bring up the issue with the CIA agent. And you know what? I will say too, the trailer for Dial of Destiny, I think, is more satisfying than the movie. But I'm not saying don't go see the movie. Go see the movie. It's a decent movie. Yeah. Although I found some things unsatisfying. But it's Harrison playing Indy, and he's happy, and I'm just happy to see Indy back for one last adventure.
Yeah, we were talking before the show started about the you going to see it, and I haven't seen it yet, but I've listened to some of the reviewers that I listen to that you're not a particular fan of, but which is fine. I'm not a particular fan of critics either. I think sometimes those guys, like I was telling you, I listen to Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker, and I mostly listen to them because just the way they get so upset about some of this crazy shit on there, and it's just like, really, you're upset about that? That's funny, The
thing about Critical Drinker is there are times that I agree with him because he does make some good points in regards to writing, because I am a screenwriter, right? And I was trained in school. I'm a filmmaker, screenwriter, and there are times where he makes points, but then he dives into the political agenda of strong female characters overshadowing male characters. He takes it to an extreme where I think he's kind of out of his mind, and he should just, his agenda is overshadows what's really happening in some of these movies, because a lot of these YouTube channels that are just, it's like a machine for churning out anti-Disney, anti-Lucasfilm reviews, and they're probably making more money than Indiana Jones is making in theaters right now because of their negative reviews. The Flash sucked, okay? And I'm a huge DC character fan. It sucked, and I was criticized. We were critical of it because story-wise, it was awful. Indiana Jones is not a perfect movie, but it's Harrison Ford. For your money to go and see this movie, it's worth it because Harrison can do no wrong. Some story flaws, but it's not because of Phoebe Waller-Bridge, as everybody on the internet is screaming about, because, she was going to replace Indiana Jones and strong whammon Mary Sue. It's like, I don't like Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character in this movie because she's not a likable character, but it does not take away, for me, enjoying seeing Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones on his last adventure, because he's never going to be doing these anymore. I grew up with Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones was my generation's James Bond. I grew up wanting to be Indiana Jones, and I'm grateful that Harrison stuck it out and wanted to do one last one, because Harrison Ford's an idol, man. He's I think a hero for a lot of people who grew up in that era of seeing movies, and he's played a lot of other great characters. But I was telling Warren and Ed before the program, I think the appeal of Indiana Jones and why he's so lovable is Harrison's not playing a character. Indiana Jones is Harrison Ford. That is literally I think his persona, and he's able to channel it into this character that's thrust into these wild adventures. Because in real life, Harrison Ford's a pilot. Yeah, not always a successful one, but he's lived an amazing life separate from his cinematic career, as like a real life adventurer. I think that, he's taken his helicopter and helped rescue missions in Wyoming where they didn't have a helicopter to rescue a mountaineer, and he like went and piloted helicopters. Can you imagine you're a mountaineer in Wyoming, and you know you're stuck up on a mountaintop because of weather conditions or something, and the rescue helicopter comes down, and it's fucking Harrison Ford piloting the copter? I mean, he didn't like do that to get any attention. It's just like that's the kind of guy he is, and I think that's why he's so close to that character, because it's so much of him in that character. And I just love the character, and I love Harrison. He's a great actor.
Yeah, that's the thing though. It's like, I mean, I don't think anybody questions like, you know, him not doing a good job with the character. It's the surroundings. It's the people that's directing him. It's the writing. It's the stuff like that.
And Crystal Skull suffered from that too, unfortunately.
Well, it was garbage. They shouldn't have had the Crystal Skull. They shouldn't have had this one either. They stopped it at 3. It was perfect. He literally rode off into the sunset
with
in the
Sean
last
Connery
Crusade.
as his dad.
Right.
It would have been the perfect end, you know, three and done.
Yeah.
But no, that cash started getting low. And they're like, Indy needs to ride again, baby.
I don't think the cash got low, Warren. I think it's just like we want to add. It's greed. I mean, and also look, trotting Indiana Jones out one last time. Here's my theory on why the Indiana Jones box office is not that great. It's not because of all the toxic negative reviews on YouTube. And we talked about this in our review. They are appealing to the generation that grew up with Indiana Jones and the kids of the generation that grew up with Indiana Jones, the kids of the parents that grew up with Indiana Jones that introduced their kids to Indiana Jones. That's this movie's audience. I don't see a lot of young people today whose parents did not introduce them to Indiana Jones seeking out this movie. And I think that's why the box office is down. Despite the fact the story is not perfect and the script is not perfect, the action is exciting. Visually, it's a beautifully produced film. It's not perfect story or script-wise, but I think the box office is suffering because I don't think a lot of young audiences, and I think that Hollywood is reliant on trotting out old IPs, intellectual properties, to make money off of us old timers who grew up with that stuff. That's why we saw them put Michael Keaton in The Flush, when that whole Flashpoint story was adapted from a story that involved. We're going to go into total nerd territory here, but the Flashpoint storyline in the comic books had to do with Barry Allen meeting Bruce Wayne's father, who became Batman because Bruce Wayne, in an alternate timeline, died in that alley, and with the emotional threads being tied up in the end of the comic book storyline, with the Flash being able to like present a message to Bruce Wayne when he returned to the present from his father. So what did Warner Brothers do? No, that's too interesting. But we know Michael Keaton's going to sell a lot of tickets because of the generation that grew up with him. So we're going to insert the Michael Keaton Batman. And The Flash had the tone of 3 different movies. It had the tone of Tim Burton's Gothic Batman movies, Zack Snyder's modernist movies, and what I like to refer to as Joss Whedon retard movie, Justice League. Because I'm sorry, I'm going to use that word. It's not a slur against mentally challenged people. It's goofy behavior, because Ezra Miller was acting like his doppelganger in The Flash was a fucking retard. There was nothing likable about that. So you've got 3 tonal palettes put in a blender, and it's like that's why the movie didn't work, because you had tones from 3 different approaches to these characters bundled into one movie. And the story, it was just, I could talk about movies forever, and I don't want to like dominate the conversation with that, but since we're talking about movies and how they've trotted out characters we grew up with to basically bank on now to represent movies, because these Michael Keaton's in his 60s, in his 70s, Harrison's 80 now. This is their last gasp at being able to capitalize and cash in on our generation that grew up with those actors playing those heroes. So
well, they're not able to cash in across the board, really. I mean, you're seeing a lot of like movie sales down because the theaters are charging way too much for these tickets to get into these places, and then once you get in there, if you better take out a second mortgage on your house to buy the food that's in there too.
My concession stand bill was more than the ticket when we went to go see it. Right?
Well, yeah, and that's always going to be the case. It's like, but that's the thing. It's like a lot of people are just like, look, a lot of them are turning to streaming and using other alternatives to go into the theater. because it's just not economically feasible. I mean, that's one of the reasons I don't go, is because the shit around here, cheapest movie you could go to maybe is like maybe $10 on a cheap night.
Yeah, I also think though the experience. What I love about going to a theater is when you have a full theater and it's a big event. Like the last really perfect big event movie that I went to go see was Avengers Endgame, which I think should have wrapped up the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I don't care about these second string superheroes that they're spinning off. It's not as satisfying. But when you go into a theater and have a shared experience of a really well produced, exciting, well scripted movie like we grew up on, Raiders of the Lost Ark, or the original Star Wars films, or action adventure thrillers that Stallone or Schwarzenegger put out. The shared experience in a movie. But the thing is, today there aren't enough of those really perfect big spectacle movies that constitute going into a movie theater to experience them. If you can get the theater full with an audience, most movies now are also smaller scale, which you can enjoy as well in your own home. But you do need a big screen for these larger franchise movies, because you got to be bombarded with like the spectacle of the adventure. I was going to
say, if I go to a movie theater like for a big event though, I'm probably going to go to like an IMAX theater, right?
Go to what?
Because go to an IMAX theater.
Yeah,
with the giant screen.
We saw Indy in IMAX. I mean, only because that was the only theater that had more seats, and it did cost. I think our tickets were $24 as opposed to what would normally be $12. But we were in the big, perfect, huge IMAX screen, which is great.
Right, but that's an event. It's like a special treat for yourself to go to see something like that. I mean, I only go to
movies for spectacle movies, not the smaller films I can watch or download from.
I can't remember. I think the last movie I saw in the theater may have been Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I saw that at the Alamo Draft House.
How did you feel about that movie?
It was kooky, but I'm a sucker for time travel movies, so of course I'm gonna get sucked into it. And I don't know, I thought it was pretty decent. I don't know about the Oscar, but I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was a very different movie. It was not a very, it was time travel, so it wasn't linear. But I watched it at home. I didn't see it in the theater. And as much as I love Ke Kwan and I love the creativity of it, I couldn't get through it. Although I admire and respect the fact it was a well-received movie, it's like for an audience that can appreciate that. And I was glad that Ke Kwan, was involved in that movie, Short Round. But I think the Academy Award for it was kind of a surprise for me. I think that there was probably more of an agenda there, a political agenda.
Isn't that what the Oscars are now, pretty much? Aren't the Oscars just a political agenda now, just like everything, just like the media, just like everybody else? Anything, it's because it's part of the control mechanism for the cult, right? Because especially like the liberals who watch that shit and get off on that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
So, what were you gonna say, Ed?
Yeah, I didn't see that movie. I haven't seen the Flush yet. I see Gamer for Life says usually the third and fourth movies in franchises are crap. I would say with the exception of Star Trek 4, the one with the whales. I mean, The Voyage Home. That was a fantastic.
It was, but I also think that Star Trek 5, since we're in a Star Trek discussion now, Mr. Heller, I think Star Trek 5, which was directed by Shatner, is a horribly maligned film. I don't think it's as bad a film as people say it was.
Before you get into that, wait, guys. Before you get into it, there's two things I want to point out, and this reminds me. So people have been asking where Jimmy is tonight. I just wanted to let her have some peace tonight. She wasn't feeling too good today, and I said, you know what, just hang out, play some video games, smoke some weed, just chill, whatever. And
these two jamokes.
But the good thing is, like, now that we're getting into these Star Trek conversations, I'm glad she's not here for that, because this is just like cringe for her. She's just like, she hates Star Trek? She hates it. She hates it.
But she loves fantasy. What fantasy movies does she love? I would imagine.
I don't know. She said Star Wars, I think. I don't know. I don't want to misrepresent what she said, but hey, Nikki, good to see you, sweetie. Where she says, when I first opened the stream, I thought the guy on the bottom was Jimmy Dore. So Jerry, you're on the Jerry, you're our power bottom this evening,
Whoa,
aka
how
Jimmy
I feel
Dore.
about that. Power
Me-
bottom.
With me and Ed on top, YMCA. What? Body,
Well, since
body.
we're
Can you
transitioning into
feel
Star
your
Trek.
See, this was the thing I was talking about with my bud Rob Moore the other day on Mundus Ultra. We were talking about what the future's going to be. Are we going to have a Star Trek future, or are we going to have an aliens future? Where
No, we're gonna
everything
have
is run by-
a Mad Max future is what I think we're gonna have.
Well, that yeah.
It's,
I'm just saying, if we
it's-
get past the apocalypse stage and actually make it to space, right, and like
well, yeah, Mad Max
consistently
for
in
sure,
space.
but it feels like we're headed for a Fifth Element future.
I think it feels like we're headed towards a Don't Look Up future, personally.
That's
no
definitely
science
true.
fiction, but yeah, it's very, very existentialist. You
I was
guys saw
explaining-
Don't Look
Yeah,
Up,
I was
didn't you?
explaining that movie to a guy at
Yeah.
work today, and this guy he's from Sudan, right? And he doesn't speak that much English, right? So he's been trying to teach me a little Arabic, and I've been trying to teach him a little English, right? So I was been telling him, I said, "There's this movie called If you want to really understand the American mindset, watch that movie, because it's basically just like that's basically how
So-
the American mindset is."
Let me share something with you. A week ago, I was stuck in a fucking emergency room for 9 hours because I still have pain in my back. I never watch TV. I don't have cable TV. I just have internet for internet connection. But I was stuck in that fucking waiting room for 8 to 9 hours until they triaged me for my immense nerve back pain. And I was watching this cycle of these shows on network television, and I swear to God, I thought I was watching the shows, the new shows that were satirized in Don't Look Up. The same absolutely empty Barbie Ken commentators,
Yep.
stupid jokes, inane conversation, and I was like, it wasn't even so much Don't Look Up. It wasn't even so much a parody as it was literally reflecting how bad network television is with these morning shows or news broadcasts that cycle late in the night. And yeah, to your point, Warren, it is kind of a reflection of what our society has really turned into.
Yeah.
And by the way, to whoever thought I was Jimmy Dore, I actually went to Jimmy Dore's alma mater. We're both Columbia College grads. And I think I was there around maybe a year behind him. I met Jimmy when he was in Chicago for a show he did down in Old Town. Was it, what was the public-
Zanies?
Was it Zanies? Yeah. So I got a chance to meet him really quickly backstage, which was cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'm from Columbia College too. And he's like, oh, he was telling his nephew Connor to not, and I don't disagree with him, not go to the tuition at Columbia College or any media school is insane. And I've always told kids who want to get into media, you know what? Don't spend money on film school. Rent lots of Blu-rays with lots of behind-the-scenes programs from filmmakers. Buy yourself an HD camera, and for the money you're going to spend for an education in film school, go make your own movie. But learn from the professionals and all these wonderful behind-the-scenes. I've got a huge library of Blu-rays back here, not so much for all the movies, but I love all of the featurettes where the filmmakers who are so passionate about the movies they make are talking about the making of movies. And I think that, film students or kids who want to go into film, do that. I mean, you can afford to get a really good digital camera and learn from the professionals through all these programs you find on Blu-rays and DVDs, and take a screenwriting course. But that all goes to Columbia College and my kind of like degree of separation with Jimmy Dore, which is cool. I can brag about that.
I look nothing like Jimmy Dore. I look more like a militant Colonel Sanders. So
I'm not as skinny as Jimmy Dore, though. Is it because I'm wearing the black shirt? I'm not sure what.
It could be the shirt.
Yeah.
Give me the shirt. Jim on
No, I think
Brockman
he
says,
wears those blue shirts now mostly.
he says, "Don't go to music school. You'll be poor."
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my
exactly.
God, the debt these students are going into. The Willie
Or
Gregg said
art
he-
school or culinary school.
I met Steph too, Willie. I was able to get a picture with both Jimmy and Steph, which was like a really magic moment for me. It's the guy who inspired me to get involved in all this online talk show stuff.
I had a friend named Jimmy in high school. So anyway, what were we talking about? We had
We went from movie talk to we came out of politics. We're covering everything tonight here.
See, we talked about the Italian combos. Did we talk pizza yet or no?
Uh-oh, here we go. Pizza talk. There's Ed's passion. Let's go into that.
We don't have
listen,
to,
okay, all right.
Chicago pizza.
Listen, okay, before we get into this, I just want to just put this out here that it's not really fair to compare two different styles of pizza, right? I mean, like a deep dish, that's like a whole that's like a whole event, right?
You can enjoy them both. When I order pizza, I will get a medium thin, and I'll also get stuffed because it's like it's like a smorgasbord of like different textures and you know, when you bite into deep dish, it's like you're biting into butter because of like the thickness of it and the softness of the cheese, but then you got the crunchy crust of the thin crust, so it's like you know, you can enjoy
Jerry's talking stuffed, and there's actually, you could say that there's basically two basic styles of deep dish, and then there's kind of a third. It's a hybrid. It's like the original deep dish, it's just one crust and with the sauce on the top, kind of like you guys have like your Sicilian squares out in New York, right? You know, the ones on the sheet pans. Like that L&B Spumoni Gardens looks delicious, but I haven't been out there to try them. You should get over there and do and report back to us.
I don't know. The best pizza joints in New York aren't the fancy places, though, right?
Probably not. No.
Your Grimaldi's are just hype. I've been to Grimaldi's. That's just, I could get better pizza at my Lovin' Oven right around the corner for like half the cost. You know, it's kind of like one of those things. So it's really hard to find the best pizza in New York.
You're in Brooklyn, aren't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you? Yeah. So you should have a lot of good choices around you.
He's in Steve Rogers' stomping grounds.
There's a up Fulton Street. There's a place called Not Ray's that's pretty decent. It's a little on the pricey side because there is no original
Ray. The general area of your apartment, like 7.
There is no original Ray's. No, there's that. It's just the Not Ray's, right? There used to be seriously Not Ray's on the other side. So yeah, Not Ray's. Yeah, seriously, Not Ray's. And I think they did like sandwiches or something. Anyway, but they did Cuban sandwiches. Oh, so good. But yeah, the Cuban sandwiches. Oh, with the ham. Nums. What is that on a Cuban sandwich? They
sandwich press. Yeah, it's like ham. They get mustard, ham, some kind of cheese, probably Swiss. And then Swiss. They press it between a sandwich press grill. And it's like the best grilled ham and cheese that you've ever had.
Ooh. You ever had a Cuban sandwich, Jerry? Now, you ever had a Cuban, Jerry?
I have had a Cuban, yeah. Yep.
I've also had the sandwich.
Hey, what the hell, this guy over here? No, I love. That's why I like New York here, and you know, I'm pretty sure Chicago has like a wide variety of different like ethnic foods and stuff like that too. So, you know,
yeah. Well, and they for a while they were saying that Chicago was the pizza capital of the world, not because it was like its styles were necessarily better, but because they had so many different styles all over the city, including the New Yorks and New Haven and all the other like Quad Cities, along with like the 4 different Chicago styles that we have now.
Well, I will say this. I will say this about the Chicago deep dish. For the winters that you guys go through, you need that hearty shit. You know what I mean? Sure. You need like all that goodness that's in there, like a nice thick pie. You know,
yeah,
like here in New York, we don't really have.
The best foods come out of suffering, unfortunately.
Yeah, we have like soups and stuff here in New York. That's like our thing. It's like for the winter time is soups, you know. But then you could get like a hot, you know, big giant cheese slice and yum. You know, there you could do that too. But you know, like I was telling you, we had this discussion on Twitter about it too. I said like, it's really hard to compare the two because it's like comparing a Rolls Royce to a Lamborghini, right? It's all about preference. You know what I mean? Both can be good. It doesn't mean one's better than the other. If you're a speedy
or a
person,
Trans Am to a Humvee.
So can I make a quick comment here? Cynic Girl in the live chat says she prefers her own pizza. Cynic Girl, may I guide you to the absolute destination, the best pizza site on the internet? And Ed, can you share that address so Cynic Girl can add to her skills
Sure.
creating her own pizzas?
Yeah, I have a website in case people didn't know. It's called realdeepdish.com. And it's actually pretty easy to make Chicago style deep dish at home. And so it took me a while to figure out how to do it because, all this bad information was floating around for decades when the internet started and nobody ever corrected the information. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to learn how to do this thing at home. And when I finally figured it out, I'm like, okay, well, I'll make a website. I'll share the recipe. And then I was like, well, there's other styles of Chicago pizza. The thin crust pizza is the popular one, the one that most people get on the Friday nights or the weekends or whenever they're just going to order pizza for a regular day. And Chicago's thin crust, it's similar to New York style in that it's kind of thin. It doesn't have that thin lip. We don't cut them into wedges and we don't fold them. We cut them into squares. But I have recipes for that. I get articles you guys want to read. I have plenty of things to keep you entertained on that website. But the first place I recommend going is the welcome page, which is really easy to find because it says "Welcome to Real Deep Dish" on it. Click here, and it gives you the deep dish recipe right at the top. It even gives you another recipe right next to it if you're in a hurry to make your pizza dough that you can use as a general all-purpose dough. I called it the quick dough recipe.
I used to deliver for Lou Malnati's in college, and boy, did I gain weight because every day we worked at Lou Malnati's, I was a delivery driver. The pizza chefs would always put out that big pizza for the staff to eat in the back room. That's a great pizza place in Chicago. Yeah,
it's really easy to eat a lot of calories if you're eating deep dish, but you got to be careful if you're just like experiencing deep dish for the first time. Don't go over 1 or 2 slices because you're gonna be paying for it in the morning.
Yeah, your eyes are bigger than your stomach sometimes.
You realize you ate about 1,400 calories. Yeah. And you're like, what's happened?
One meal. You get going to food afterwards.
But
if it's in the middle of winter though, that's a good thing, right? You want that hardiness to build up the
very
girth.
filling meal. And the different places, depending on how you make this deep dish, it can be one of those hot tub experiences like Uncle Warren says, where it's kind of a soupy mess and you definitely need a knife and fork. But you can balance out your ingredients to the point where you might actually be able to bake it where the bottom stays solid. You'll be able to hold it in your hand and actually eat it. You won't be trying to fold this thing. But
look at this.
Oh, and there's my stuffed pizza. That's the other style of deep dish because the original deep dish. The original deep dish was made in 1943. Stuffed pizza came around in 1971. And some people can't tell the difference because of the sauce on top. So but the one that everybody thinks is the only kind of deep dish when they're not in Chicago is probably stuffed pizza. It's that cheese stretch spectacle, when people lift the slice up and they stand on their chairs or tables and then lift the slice up so you can see how high the cheese goes in all those social media videos. That they're doing that with stuffed pizza.
Biting into stuffed pizza is like biting into like a stick of butter. Not that it tastes like butter, but the texture is just so satisfying.
Well, if you're a big fan of the mozzarella cheese, stuffed pizza has the most out of any Chicago style.
What's this one here?
This one here, I started calling it the Quad because the place that originated was called Pequods, and this guy named Bert Katz had invented the style, which was kind of a hybrid style. It's a round pan with a puffy crust, similar to Detroit style. but it's
I
got
see
the
that
caramelized crust on the outside. But you know,
Yeah,
like
that's
with
what I was
Detroit
looking at.
style, it's usually just like a browned cheese. But for this, what's happening here is when it's baking, the sauce goes down into the crevice between the dough and the pan and bakes with the cheese to make that crust black like that is there. So
Ooh.
it's like a sugar kind of thing there. It's a little sweet caramelized thing going on there. You either love it or you hate it.
Oh, I
It's
love
like
it.
the best part of that pizza
Ooh.
for sure.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I want to do some things that are against the law with that pizza. You know what I'm saying? At least in Texas, right? Wait, what?
Will you stop moving my camera? Look at this guy.
We're back here.
Here we go. Take control
anyway.
of the camera.
Oh, they
This
can't see
cat-
it yet, but
Oh,
there
okay.
we go.
All right.
You see.
So
Yeah,
that's
the cat.
cool.
The cat.
There
He
he goes.
nudges. He
There he
nudges
goes.
the camera.
this cat. Wait a minute.
That's awesome.
He's a character. Aren't
It's
you?
like I don't care. I'm gonna move the thing. You can't stop me.
Can I put it back now? Let's see what he
This
does.
cat said, "No, I am
You can put it back, but I'm gonna move it again.
I am
Yeah,
the
he's thinking about
DP." That cat's the DP, right? The director of photography, right?
Well, and the executive producer.
Wow,
Right?
DPEP. That's DEEP. You get it, deep. It's what because they said with the thing.
He's like, I saw pizza on the screen. Are you getting me pizza?
You know what, Ed? When I ordered a pizza the other night, thin crust, and they hover around that box. I've got 3 cats. He's the only one who likes to come out and show up when I do a show. But they all love this. They love the aroma of pizza. And I say, that's daddy's food, not yours.
Yeah,
Until you're not looking.
Yeah, and then daddy becomes food. And he's going to say, I'm going to get that pizza one way or another, Jack. You hear me? You got to go to sleep sometime. Listen, I've kept you guys way too long. And I got to go to bed soon because, you know, I got like real shit to do. But,
Well, can I say it's been a slice?
what?
See what I did
No.
there?
Wait a minute.
I
There you
see
go.
exactly
There you go.
what you did.
That's it. We got Henny Youngman here. We dug him up from the dead. He's here with us. He's he'll be with us all week. Try the soup. Be sure to tip your wait staff. Come
Try the
on, they're
pizza.
working hard for you.
Try the
It
deep
worked.
dish.
That's right.
It's
because
magic.
it is magic. All right. So this was fun. So not fun that Jimmy was sick, but we wish her feeling better.
We miss our
so.
eye candy and brilliant, wonderful, talented.
What am I,
lady.
chopped
I'm
liver?
right
The hell?
here.
Next to Jimmy? Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus,
Yeah.
Jerry. Tone deaf much. Look at this cake up here. Wait a minute. Look
I'll
at this
never be
cake.
invited again.
Look at this cake.
All right,
I can't
all
get
right.
in there, but you see I'm pointing to the cake. So, yeah, this was fun. I'm glad you guys, you know what? I just wanted one night, no silly videos, no chickens, none of that bullshit. Let's get some, let's just have like a night to just like shoot the shit, hang
Yeah.
out with the peeps in the chat who are just wonderful folks. Thank you so much for,
Thank you for inviting us. We'll do it again soon. We'll have you over to Chicago Corner, and we'll jump back whenever you extend the invitation.
I'll make you a nice soup. I'll bring it
Okay.
over, you know, because you're so nice to me, Jerry. I want to do something for you once in my life. Can I do that? Okay. All right. Can I be me for 5 minutes? All right, then. Wait, what? No, my man, no sexy. I'm sorry.
Let's
All right.
pimp our channel real quickly. Everybody who hasn't already found us,
I've got this feeling so
I'm going to get copyright struck.
for us to get together and sing.
Jewish space lasers.
Ring, ding, ding, ding. Good times. All right. So, yes, please, let's talk about Chicago Corner on Tuesday nights and Friday nights. Hit it.
Tuesday and Fridays, Chicago Corner. You can find us on YouTube. Just type in your little search bar Chicago Corner. You'll find us. Please like and subscribe to our page. We're trying to build up our audience. One of the features of Chicago Corner we really love is the interactive component of the show, where Ed and I will usually cover talk about stories, analyze, just shoot the shit about things that are in the news. But we really, really love all of the interaction with our live chat viewers. So plus, if you are so inclined to be a patron of Chicago Corner on Patreon for $5 a month, you have the opportunity once a month to come on and actually co-host a show with Ed and I if you've got a webcam at home, and you can participate in the conversation or share something you want to talk about and analyze and comment on the news as Ed and I do. So please, we beg you, we implore you, follow and subscribe to us on Chicago Corner. We also have a website, chicagocornertv.com. Ed, anything you want to add?
Yeah, on the website, chicagocornertv.com also has what we have, a Brandon bingo card, so you guys can follow along when we give updates about our new mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, and the 25 or so things that we think might happen.
He's already followed through on some of them.
He has followed through on a few. Originally, I thought we'd do like whatever he can accomplish in his first month, but we didn't realize that his transition period was going to be taking this long. He just came out with a plan on what he's going to do going forward with the transition of his mayoralship, and he hasn't even gotten rid of all the people he needs to get rid of yet.
The blueprint for Chicago, he calls it.
Yeah. So like the guy running the public transportation system in Chicago, he needs to go. I mean, we can't have like things like ghost trains and ghost cars where they have the schedule that says they're arriving and they never show. So,
but we don't just talk about Chicago stuff. Since
True.
Chicago Corner reorganized as a worker-owned co-op with me, Ed, and our dear Kira McCown, who's currently on maternity leave. She just had her second child, little boy. I'm embarrassed. What is his name, Ed? The new
Catfish McCown.
That's
think
right.
I'm calling him.
Yeah.
Because in about 20 some years, he's going to be a future starting pitcher for the Chicago Cub Sox after the baseball reorganization merges those two teams.
Well, once we reorganized as a worker-owned co-op and kind of, divorced our former colleagues, not with any malice, but we just needed to kind of split off and branch off on our own. We realized Chicago Corner shouldn't just be about Chicago stuff. Now, Chicago Corner used to be the place where you could learn about everything Chicago culturally, news-wise, but now Chicago Corner is news covering Chicago, the nation, the world from a Chicago point of view. And that's how we can encourage more viewers to come.
So mostly it's
Chicago talk.
Yeah, so mostly we cover a lot of stories, but then we throw a little Jardinera on top.
Yeah. And it's a fun program. We've got an archive of shows from the past. We're going on 3 years now. We've been doing it, and you'll see special guest segments, movie reviews as we've just started including. We did some heavy coverage of the last mayoral election, and we used to be a very, very angry show because we were so disgusted with our former mayor, Lori Lightfoot. But there's a new sheriff in town, and we're actually very optimistic about Chicago's future with the former teacher and organizer, Brandon Johnson, who just was sworn in. And I think he's a good man. And, we're in the honeymoon phase right now, but I think he's going to deliver on a lot of stuff because I think he's a much more level-headed type of public servant that is actually interested in bringing people together instead of the Lori Lightfoot's style, which was my way or the highway. I'm the queen. I don't give a fuck when anybody thinks I've got the biggest dick in Chicago. Yes, our former lesbian mayor, Lori Lightfoot, in closed-door meetings did brag or actually was trying to intimidate people in that meeting by claiming she had the biggest dick in Chicago. So we're glad she's wrong.
That's shocking news.
But,
well, at least you could take the lessons you learned with Leisure Suit Larry Lightfoot and apply them to dude. I mean, you can still believe it, be positive about the guy, but now you're like, I'm keeping an eye on you.
Well, we've actually said that. I mean, we're optimistic about Johnson. Johnson did an interview 10 years ago speaking to all the things that he ran on. So it's like, he's the real deal. I mean, the stuff that he's trying to change and improve here, He was all about 10 years ago with this interview that we found on Book TV. And we've now referred to Lori Lightfoot as the speed bump that unfortunately blocked the way to someone coming into office that's actually addressing the problems we talk about, the root causes of violence, reinvesting in neighborhoods, recognizing that the solutions with just putting more cops on the streets is not a solution. You got to figure out how to like provide opportunities to like guide vulnerable, unfortunately, kids that don't have better sense into, supporting them, whether it's through school opportunities, more mental health support. When Rahm Emanuel was our mayor and Brandon Johnson was doing this panel discussion on everything that was wrong with Rahm Emanuel and the way the city was going, Lori Lightfoot, he wasn't running for office. Brandon Johnson wasn't at that time. We actually have an episode about that particular interview. But Lori Lightfoot entered office and she ran as a progressive reformer, and she wasn't. She bamboozled everybody. Now we've got Brandon Johnson who beat her, and it's like, a breath of relief that finally the stuff he talked about that we were recognized needed to be, addressed 10 years ago. We've got someone in office that's addressing that stuff. But if he drops the ball and he doesn't really deliver, we're going to be just as critical of him as we were Lightfoot. Yeah. We're not cheerleaders. We're just being pessimistically optimistic right now. We're optimistically pessimistic.
We're also going.
He's a better quality of public servant.
And we're also going into this realizing that we've had like 4 or 5 bad mayors in a row. So there's a lot of damage that has been done over those decades.
He's got a lot.
You can't fix it all overnight.
No.
Although there's some things he might be able to do faster. I'm hoping he starts speeding it up now that he's got his transition plan going and he can actually start, putting feet on, rubber to the road. Is that what the phrase is?
Yeah. Pedal to the metal.
Speaking of roads, fix the roads, man. The potholes. Oh my God.
It's kind of hard to put the rubber to the road when there's no road there. So
or you're going to blow out the bottom of your car because of the unpaved potholes that are all over the place.
Right.
We are desperate for some serious infrastructural improvement in Chicago. And we'll see how he handles that.
Yes. Well, and I'm sure other cities are too. I mean, didn't they just have that bill? They had that bridge collapse in, or that part of the roadway collapse in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yeah. I'm just waiting for something like that to happen here in Chicago, because you drive through these underpasses over L platforms, and literally, Warren, you've got the concrete that's crumbling, and you've got like metal.
Those steel girders that are just rusting.
Steel girders that are just like bolted in to like keep the support pylon from like literally.
Yeah. And I think the worst ones are the ones under the railroad tracks too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all connected. It's like if one of those supports goes, and that overpass part where, and then a railroad track, just buckles, and then you'll have a giant derailing disaster happen.
Mm-hmm.
I sadly think it's just a matter of time. I hope it doesn't happen, but yeah. Warren, this was wonderful. Let's do it again soon. And we'll have you and Jimmy on our program too whenever you guys are available.
Yes, we should definitely do this soon again. Actually, you guys want to come on Mundus Ultra at some point, right? Talk about the Vegas UFOs and UFOs in general.
UAP stuff. Yeah, we've been covering that a lot on Chicago Corner too, with Grush's and Greer's disclosures. It's like that was our opportunity to like pivot and do some stuff that's like, finally we can talk about something other than Chicago or Biden and Trump. And
it's cool to talk about stuff that's like, we think it, it's always been considered conspiracy, but all of a sudden, like, no, dude, this stuff's real.
Yes. Thank you. That's exactly what we're talking about. Look at that, man.
Yeah, that thing's gone viral. I mean, look at it. That hole in the middle there.
And that's probably a railway underpass, railroad underpass.
Yeah, that's not the only one that looks like that either.
Yeah.
And I'll bet I know where that one is too. I bet that's on Ashland.
That is ridiculous.
Or it's on Western Avenue. It's one of those.
Well, yeah. So
our infrastructure is a mess in this country, and it doesn't have to be.
And we have the money to fix things, but we're pouring it into Ukraine. and our military industrial complex. Although I have a theory, all that money, so the trillions that have disappeared, like when Donald Rumsfeld was talking about the money that disappeared before 9/11, or the current situation where the Pentagon does not have to balance its budget. I think the UAP disclosure is where all that money is gone.
Yeah, it's going to all those secret programs where they're re-engineering to make our own versions of those alien spaceships that they forced down.
It's the only explanation for where that amount of money disappeared to. So, but we'll find out more.
Let's talk. I think, let's see. So my availabilities this week are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So one of those days. So we'll get together and we'll see when we're going to do it. And I think it's going to be a good show. I think it'd be fun to talk about that stuff. And talk about Dr. Stephen Greer too. And I maybe throw some Graham Hancock into the mix too. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, Warren, two to beam up.
There we go.
Tune in to the next episode of Weird Stuff with Uncle Mundus.
See, this is the closest thing I've got to Star Trek.
Jewish space lasers.
That's all I got. So, listen,
And
guys.
love to Jimmy. We're sorry we missed you tonight. Hopefully, we'll see you in a show soon too.
Yeah, get to feeling better, sweetie. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, in case you're just joining us, Jimmy's out sick. She's sick of being on this show.
She's sick of us.
She's sick of you.
She grew a goatee and has like this meat wad thing behind her. I don't know, and she's doing this crazy impression of Ed that I don't know how she's pulling that off. But anyway, she must be really sick. So wait a minute. Single tear.
Hold on.
All right, guys.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
So Tuesday nights, Friday nights, 7 p.m. Central.
7:30 Central Standard Time. And occasionally, if you subscribe to our channel, you'll catch a pre-recorded segment that will. I think the next movie we're going to try to review is going to be Oppenheimer. Actually,
Cool.
we talked about that being a big event movie to see in the theater, so we'll drop a review for that. Maybe a Saturday afternoon. Our unregularly scheduled programs, I usually put them on Saturday afternoons when people are at home, and they're pre-recorded, but people can still participate in the live chat and share their comments on what we're talking about. But Tuesdays and Fridays, 7:30 Central Standard Time, we're live, and that's when we hope everyone joins us to participate in the live chat and whatever we're gabbing about.
Hell yeah, man. It's a great show. It's expanding. They're doing good things over there. Check them out. They're on YouTube. They're on Rockfin. And let's get them on Rumble, too. So as soon as you guys get your Rumble channel and put the word out, and we'll shout it from the rooftops for you, too. So
Ed,
get the word out.
Let's get ready to rumble.
All right. So, yes.
Okay. So we gotta get the hell out of here because Daddy needs his rest. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. And we'll let you know about Mundus Ultra. It's coming up this week with these guys, and it should be a fun one. We'll see you next time. Peace. Love your ass because you should wash it every day. Love it. Ring, 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 ring. Banana. Oh, another copyright strike. God damn it, Ed.
Shut up, bitch!
Groovy.